Okay, so forget the light bulb. Seriously. Forget the fluorescent tube, too. What if the source of light wasn't some single piercing point, but the entire surface around you? Today we're going to dig into a technology that makes this very thing possible. And believe me, it's about to change everything we thought we knew about light.
Just picture this for a second. A window that at night becomes a soft, glowing light source. Or a car's tail light that isn't some clunky separate part, but a totally seamless flowing part of the car's body. Imagine a ceiling that lights up an entire room without a single bulb in sight. This isn't science fiction, folks. This is the reality that's being built right now with OLED lighting.
So, what is it that makes this technology so radically different from the lights we use every single day? Well, it all really boils down to one key distinction. This slide really shows the fundamental shift we're talking about. On the left, you've got traditional lighting, like LEDs. They act as a point source, a single, really intense point of light that creates those harsh shadows and that uncomfortable glare we all know. But on the right, you've got OLEDs, which are a surface source. The light is naturally soft, it's diffused, you can literally look right at it without squinting. It's like the difference between being under a harsh spotlight and standing under a soft, open skylight. Of course, for any new lighting technology, the big question is always, how efficient is it? So let's see how OLEDs are stacking up against the current champ, the LED. Now this chart from 2015 shows us efficacy. Basically, how much light you get for the energy you put in. Back then, yeah, LEDs were the clear winner at 160 lumens per watt. But look at OLEDs, they were catching up fast at 140. The real takeaway here isn't just the numbers though, it's the speed of improvement. OLED tech was closing that gap like crazy, and it had already left older stuff like fluorescent lamps completely in the dust. But you know, efficiency is only half the story. The other, really important half is light quality, and that's where something called the Color Rendering Index, or CRI, comes in. A high CRI means colors look true to life, just like you're seeing them in natural daylight. You know, think about trying to match an outfit or putting on makeup under bad lighting where all the colors look weird. With the high CRI of OLEDs, what you see is what you get, which makes them perfect for everything from retail stores to art galleries. But getting to that high level of efficiency, well, it wasn't easy. For years, OLEDs had this secret problem. They were actually generating a ton of light, but a huge chunk of it was getting stuck inside the device itself. So, where in the world was all this light going? Well, it was getting trapped in a few different ways. Imagine light trying to escape through a series of windows. First, some of its energy gets zapped right at the very first pane. Then, some of that light gets stuck just bouncing between the panes, unable to find the right angle to get out. And finally, even if it makes it through all that, it can get trapped in the thick outer glass, reflecting back inside instead of shining out into the room. So much light was being made, but it just couldn't escape. This was a massive challenge. So how did engineers solve it? Well, they came up with this brilliant two-part strategy to basically help the light break free. The solution was a really clever two-pronged attack. First, they needed to free the light that was trapped deep within the device's layers. For that, they used what are called internal extraction structures. Then, they had to deal with the light trapped in the outer glass part, which required external extraction structures. Let's break down how each of these actually works. Okay, let's focus on that first problem. Here you can see the light just getting stuck, bouncing back and forth inside. It's been generated, it's there, but it just can't find the right angle to escape. It's trapped, and eventually that energy just gets lost as heat instead of becoming useful light. And here is the solution. It's so smart. By adding an internal extraction structure, you can think of it as a special layer that just scatters light. Engineers could essentially nudge the trapped light out of its path. This little nudge changes the angle of the light, giving it a clear shot to escape the device. And the result? It's just staggering. Adding one of these internal layers boosted the amount of light getting out by 2.28 times. That's more than double the light, all from freeing what was already being created inside. A huge, huge leap in performance. So these breakthroughs in efficiency didn't just make OLEDs brighter, they totally paved the way for brand new forms and manufacturing methods, pushing lighting into this really cool, flexible, adaptable future. So how do you actually get different colors from an OLED? Well, on the left, you have the stripe type method. It's kind of like a TV screen where you have little red, green, and blue lights right next to each other, and you need a diffuser to blend them. On the right, though, there's the more advanced vertically stacked approach. It's like a sandwich, with each layer being a different color. The light mixes perfectly as it shines through all the layers, but it's a much more complex recipe to get just right. Now, for this technology to truly change the world, it has to be affordable. And that's the magic of roll-to-roll manufacturing. Instead of making these lights one by one on expensive glass, imagine printing them on huge flexible rolls, kind of like a newspaper. This process just slashes costs, it cuts waste, and it boosts reliability. It's the manufacturing leap that takes flexible, paper-thin lighting from a cool lab experiment to your living room.
And this quote from the research really just sums it all up. The ability to form an arbitrary curvature. That's the true revolution here. It's not just about a better light source. It's about freeing light from the chains of a bulb or a tube and letting designers weave it into basically any shape or surface you can think of. So, this is where we are now. The biggest technical hurdles are falling away. Light is now thin, it's transparent, and it's flexible. The question is no longer, how can we do this, but what will we dream up next with it? I, for one, can't wait to see the answer. Thanks for joining me on this one.